Not quite. Hello there. Now we're doing it. We cannot do it without the tra 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 tra. Anyway, good evening and welcome to Beard Blather 130 something. Biden's failure cascade. You're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I'm Saul Montes-Bradley, the largest human repository of useless information. That's why I have no hair. See, it just pushed it out. And from Florida, this is beginning to sound repetitive. And over there, this guy, Thomas Wictor, the only living expert in World War I flamethrowers, and a heck of an expert on a lot of things. Some I can tell you, some I cannot. Some I don't even freaking know. But he knows. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, Saul. How's everything?
Everything's great. I'll have you know that we've started this one in Odysee and YouBoob at the same time. Not that we're going to last too long in YouBoob, but I wanted to remind we still have a shitload of followers in YouBoob and even channel members. And I wanted to let them know that, yes, we're still doing our shows regularly, but we're doing them in through Odysee, and it's going to be a cold day in hell before I do any of my personal shows in YouBoob. The only thing that you can see me is anything that is related to the Gold Institute for International Strategy, and that's about freaking it. For obvious reasons, including some that we're going to discuss tonight. I don't know if we can even start in YouBoob, but as you know, the president vegetable decided to have a speech to the soul of a nation. And I don't know if you noticed, but no TV channel picked it up.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Did you notice that?
Apparently, only Newsmax or some.
Yeah, well, no, but I'm talking about CBS, NBC.
Yeah. No, they
nobody picked it up. The whole world went like, "Meh."
Well, they're saving Biden from himself because this was easily the stupidest thing he's ever done politically as president.
Well, I'm sure he's very, very happy with the guy in charge of the scenography.
And that everyone, their grandmother is using that one photo where he's got his two fists raised and he's in front of the red background, and it looks exactly like the Nazi eagle wings. There's a picture of Hitler in the Reichstag, and they've got the same. The eagle had flat wings. The American eagle's wings are going upward in a like this, and the Nazi eagle's wings were flat. And the red line,
like Cesar Chavez's flag.
Yeah. So Biden's the blood red coloring, the oddly, I guess it was part of the facade of the building. It was the whatever they call them, not cornices or whatever.
It is the facade of Independence Hall.
Yeah, so it picked up the light, and it looked like white wings, complete with feathers, white Nazi wings, and then the two military men standing in the background. It was amazing. It was just about the dumbest thing he could have done because it came across as utterly totalitarian.
But it's okay. Well, It should. After all, his message was totalitarian.
You bet. You bet.
You won't say a word.
Yeah. No, it also, the funny thing is that it was absolute total projection. He said something along the lines of the Trump Republicans thrive in chaos. Huh. They don't respect the law. Huh. They demonize their political opponents. Huh. So he just went down the list and he just described his own political party.
Oh, he described, I don't know, Loretta Lynch calling for blood on the streets when Trump was inaugurated. He described Maxine Waters, that neighbor of yours, that sweetheart, that peach of a woman who never uttered a violent word in her life, calling for the harassment of political opponents. He described Schumer calling for the harassment of justices and threatening, what was it that he said? Release the whirlwind? Because, release the storm was already taken by another asshole. So I don't recall a single top-line Republican senator or congressman calling for violence, for the harassment of opponents, questioning the legitimacy of one of the branches of government. Not one.
Well,
and I'm hard put to name the Democrat who didn't.
Well, also, the president of the United States didn't call out his political opponent. He called out everyone who supports his political opponent. And that is unprecedented. You hear leftists say Trump did the same thing. He never once called out Democratic.
Not once.
He never once called out Democratic voters. And the Democrats have now crossed the Rubicon, and they are directly attacking the voters, not the politicians. And they say it's just politics. Well, you and I both know that in the past, politics was basically reserved for politicians. You called out your political enemy, you called out the voters. You didn't say that half the country were basically illegitimate people who need to be stopped. You didn't say that.
No. Remember the good old days when it was out of limits to attack the family of your opponent?
Yeah.
All of those Democrats making fun of Sarah Palin's child. All of those Democrats threatening violence against Donald Trump's son. What is that?
Claiming that he's autistic. I mean, it's okay. They love to use the term fascism, and all you have to say in response to that is fascism is a collectivist ideology. Conservatism is an individualist ideology. End of story. And
thank you very much. Speaking of fascism and collectivist ideology, I read an interesting article this week in California, that pantheon of democracy, that I call it a pantheon of democracy because that's where democracy is buried. And they came up, all of the articles and all of the commentary was about, they passed a law and they were looking to have a minimum salary of $22 in fast food stores. Other than that's ridiculous, then you have to read the small letter. What the law actually does is it establishes a new government entity, mind you, because Californians didn't have enough of them, with 10 members appointed by the governor, who will mediate between the fast food owners associations on the one hand and the fast food workers unions on the other, to establish salaries and prices and shit can be so. Isn't that a fucking fascist corporation, or am I missing something?
No, when you have the government, the corporations, and the workers all mixed together, that is corporatism, which is another term for fascism. So yeah, California
it's a fascist corporation.
Exactly, because
and this is what they promote, and they call you a fascist.
Well, also say goodbye to fast food in California. Nobody's going to pay their workers $32. You go to McDonald's today, and if you get, say, a double cheeseburger, it's about this big around, and it still costs as much as it did 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
but you're getting maybe 2/3 as much food now, and they've shrunk everything down about as far as they can go. They can't raise prices anymore, so they're just going to say, you know what, go to hell.
The dollar menu is not the dollar menu anymore either.
No, there is no dollar menu really, and it's if you can't make a profit in California, you're not gonna have stores in California. You know what they're going to do? I saw a video. I found a new channel. I think it's called The Adventures of Natasha, and it's a young Russian woman who speaks English. And she and her friend took us on a tour of former McDonald's, which has become the Russian version. And all they did was change the name. Everything's the same. They're using all the same equipment. They're using the same everything. And they said the only thing is that it doesn't quite taste like McDonald's. But
well, that would be an improvement.
Yeah, I mean they're also cutting back on what was already there. Like instead of 3 pickles, you now get 1, that sort of thing. And what will happen in California is that all these chains are going to shut down, and all the franchisees who bought it, they're going to convert their Burger King into Jimmy's Burgers, and they're going to convert their McDonald's into Leanne's Burgers, and that's what's going to happen. Because you can't.
I'm personally looking forward for In-N-Out Burger in Florida.
Yeah, no, I mean they went to Texas. I don't think. It's all crazy. I mean, out here we have a burger chain called Carl's Jr. and to the east of the Mississippi, it's called Hardee's. So it's
the same, and it's the same thing. Yeah,
the same thing. But it's California. California is like the UK in that it's a very slow suicide. The state is committing suicide, and it's doing it voluntarily. So I'm a big proponent of giving people what they try hard to get. They should get it.
Yeah, let's go into the last thing we can say in YouBoob, but this conversation we're going to have to finish off of YouBoob,
right?
Because there is something that people cannot talk about. And Fearless Leader, in his speech from the Red Brick, you know what? It also looked like a comedy house.
Yeah. No, I mean
maybe that's what it was. Anyway, he accused all of us who may have something to say about a certain event that occurred in November of 2020. That we are attacking democracy.
We're insurrectionists. We're insurrectionists.
Yeah, but my point is, no, I'm not attacking democracy. You are.
Of course.
I have the right to express my opinion on just about anything and everything under the sun, courtesy of the First Amendment. That notion our founding fathers had, that the stifling of discussion killed our republic. And my criticizing something that happened in November 2020, it's not an attack on democracy, but threatening me with legal, political persecution, with
Military
punishment for
persecution.
media for
Military
expressing my opinion is.
Military persecution.
Yes. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of these pompous asses putting on a I love democracy cloak as they're cutting democracy's throat.
Well, these same people made the same points as we're making about a certain event that happened in 2016. And
Yeah.
then when we had the same questions about 2020, they said, "Oh my God, you are insurrectionists, you are traitors, you are terrorists."
Yes. And now, before we actually say something that will cause the fascists in YouBoob, and not a little fascist, not half. By the way, what the fuck is a little fascist?
Semi-fascist.
Or what is semi-fascist?
You don't know?
That's a woman that's semi-pregnant. Oh, I'm sorry, a birthing person.
Yeah.
That is semi with child.
Yeah. No,
What the crap is that? No. These guys, full-blown fascists, who will continue to demonetize us, suspend us, and deleting our videos if we see.
Yeah, that's why we're going to Odysee.
Means that the rest of the conversation has to be in a freer place.
Bye-bye, YouTube.
Yeah, just one thing. For those of you watching in YouBoob, and I notice in the chat somebody says, "Oh, I haven't gotten any notification in months." No shit, Sherlock. If you look, there is a bye-bye YouBoob video down there where we explain this, and I'll explain it to you again. We're not in YouBoob. Every now and then we do these to remind people who may have missed it that we have abandoned the fascist hellhole and are doing all of our programs and having a lot of fun and talking without anybody trying to muscle us in Odysee. Now, right down here, you're going to find a link to this program in Odysee. If you want to continue watching it, click on it. You can also click on an invitation to come and join us in Odysee and open your account, same as you once did in YouTube. You have a Google account, and they call them channel in Odysee, but it's still the same thing as the Google account for YouBoob. Come on, join us in the chat, and you're going to see that you have a lot more fun. And with that, it's time to bid you adieu, YouBoob.